Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PS3 review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Blur, which if you've never played it before, it is a racing game, only it's not a serious racing game, it's basically got weapons and stuff like that, but because it's the makers of the Project Gotham games, it does actually feel a lot like a real racing game. So I'll just cut past all this server stuff. Oh, thankfully it's actually done. At the start you basically got single player or multiplayer. It's 4-player split screen multiplayer on the same console. That is excellent, I love that. It's also got online. I'll start with the single player stuff because the multiplayer is pretty much, well, it's the races that you're going to see here, but with 4 people up to. And as I don't have 4 people here, well, 3 people, then I'll probably might as well just show off the single player. So single player stuff, you've got the career mode, which is a pretty hefty career mode. There's basically 450 lights to collect, and I'll explain what the lights are and you'll see just how big it is when I show you the lights and that. You can do friend challenges and that. You can go onto the help if you need it. You can view the leaderboards. Obviously quit out takes you back to the main menu to choose multiplayer. Options, well, there's a lot of stuff for options. You can link to Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that. You can just do this, that and the other, show the controller layout, change the difficulty. You can view your photos that you've taken. You can go to your showroom and view your cars. You've got your stickers, which are your trophy progress and stuff like that, or achievement progress if you're on the Xbox. So nothing much really other than the career mode on the single player, because the other stuff is all just small stuff, I suppose. So anyway then, let's start with the first chapter type thing. You've got a lot of different races, and to be fair, I can't actually start here very quickly. I need to go on to one that the challenges aren't done, because when you first go into one, on the right you've got the challenges of what the person who's challenge it is wants you to do. So for this it's like complete 5 fan demands, 2 fan runs, 4 fan targets, stuff like that. There's all sorts of things that change all the time, and when you actually beat them you get mods and stuff which can help you out. Like for example, the first mod you get the bolt power up, so one of the weapons, instead of getting 3 ammo for it, you get 4. Pretty cool stuff like that. So anyway, the career mode, as I say, is pretty hefty because these are the lights. You get lights depending on where you come in the race and depending on what things that you do. So 5 lights for first, 4 for second, 3 for third, and then there's also other stuff you can do like gaining amount of fans and doing challenges and stuff. So I'll cut into it because these cutscenes, while they're pretty decent and all that, they can be a bit annoying and so can loading. So this is basically what comes up at the start of the race. It tells you your primary goal, your fan target and your fan run. The fan run, if you've ever played Project Gotham, it's like a cone thing. I'll show one off to basically explain it properly. Fan target is how many fans you've got to get. You get fans by basically being entertaining, so kicking the crap out of your rivals, leading throughout the entire race and that, just stuff like that. Then when you click into that, you've got a choice of cars. You unlock cars by actually getting the fan stuff and that, and by completing the challenges, so it's something that's well worth doing. There's all sorts of car types. There's grip types, so obviously you've got good grip. There's drift types, there's off-road, there's balance, just stuff like that. In all honesty, I actually prefer purely playing as the grip cars because I'm no good with drifting on the game or anything, so I'm best off just having good handling for corners. So this is the start of a race. As you might have noticed, you do actually get a rolling start, and well, what to explain from here? At the top of the screen you've got your rear view mirror, which comes in very handy. Unfortunately that's not on the multiplayer, but as you might have already figured out why, it's because it takes up too much room. Then in the dead centre of that you might notice these little green lights. They're your car's energy. Now if you get destroyed, don't worry about it, you don't lose the race or anything, you just come back on. So it's just one of those. It's a big penalty because obviously you have to wait to respawn and that, and it's something that I'm probably going to have done very soon. Before I explain the rest of the stuff, I've actually started one of these fan things, so I'll explain these. As you can see, there's now beams of light on the road, and you've just got to basically go through all the gates, and you've got a time to get to the next gate, and it just keeps extending as you get them, and you go through a lot of them, and that's simply it. So once you've done that on one lap, you don't need to do it on the others. You've passed the challenge, and there you go, you've completed it for the race, as long as you then win the race, or at least place in the race. So top right you've got your radar on that, and you've also got your current number of fans. Top left you've got your position out of 20 cars, because that's one of the cool things, it is 20 player, even online I believe it's 20 player. You've then got what current light you're going to get if you place at that place. So as soon as you hit 3, well third, then it shows the lights and that. As soon as you hit 2, obviously it shows 4 lights. And then on your car you've actually got the weapon system. There's 8 different collectibles overall, because there's some like the wrench here, which fixes your car. There's turbos you can get, there's electric weapons you can get, there's homing missiles, there's mines, and pretty much all of the weapons, like whether they be defensive or offensive, can be fired in front or behind. So if someone's chasing you, fire them behind. If someone's in front of you, fire them in front. And this even works with the mines. You can just shove the mines right in front of someone. It's really cool. And as I say, as you're going around the race, beating the crap out of things and just doing this, that and the other, it'll come up what you've got, how many fans and that you've just gained and stuff like that. So shooting someone with the electric weapon, I believe something like you get 10 fans. And that's how you get your fan target throughout the race. You just keep totting it all up until you get the 900, 1200, etc. Whatever you need. So anyway, on to the actual handling of the game. As I've already mentioned, it does play a bit like a real racer because it is the Gotham team who's done it. So it's not zany arcade physics or anything like that. You do have to be pretty decent at driving, and that's where I imagine a lot of people are now going to turn off, because I know fine well people are going to be expecting zany racers, so something like Mod Nation, where it is just total unbelievable physics. It doesn't really matter at all what happens, and it doesn't really require, and I hate to say this because Mod Nation requires skill, but it doesn't really require much driving skill. However, this does require a little bit. You need to be at least half decent at playing a Gotham game or something. Unfortunately, I'm not amazing, but I am, as I say, half decent with them. So you need to be able to know how to drive a realistic car. It's not just all about the weapons. However, the weapons can help you win, because that's why they're there. You just have to use them right, you have to be smart about them and collect them and just stuff like that. So anyway, I've shown a bog standard race. I'll now cut into one of the other types, because there's all sorts of stuff on the game. So, as I say, I've shown you the bog standard race, and there are some bog standard modes on it, like racing, checkpoint races, one-on-one races and stuff like that. But then there's this mode here, which is pretty cool, which is basically Destructor. And the whole point is, you have to blow up cars, which pretty much one-shot kills them, because they're not real rivals or anything. You blow up the cars, and you have to get points. And however many points you get is what your medal get. So, this one, 20 points for bronze and 80 for gold. And you just have to basically be good with the weapons, make sure you collect them. As you can see, the fan gates are still on these as well, so it's not as if like they're only on the races, they're pretty much on the lot. So yeah, it's just one of those. You have to be good with driving, as I say, and good with the weapons, because the races really do test all your skills at the same time. It's not a case of, well, if I'm good with the weapons and crap at driving, I'll win, because, while, yes, if you're very good with the weapons, I suppose that can happen, but you do still need to be able, as I say, learn to drive with these cars. So it's best off basically trying the lot out. So, as you might have noticed, I'm now in one of the off-roaders, just to try and show some differences. I've definitely noticed the difference myself with handling, because turning corners is just evil now. So, not really much to be fair left to say about the game, other than that graphically it looks absolutely fantastic, and musically it's pretty basic, and you have to have the volume turned up before you can really hear it anyway. But there are a couple of things, so I'll shut up for a bit of the music and then I'll finish it off. So there we go then, that was a little bit of the music, and keyword on little because I'm running out of time here, and I've tweaked the options to make it sound more audible so you can hear it better. A few things I've got left to mention are that some of the vehicles, but not all of them, allow you to customise the paint job and that. You can also select which weapon you've got, because you might have noticed there's 3 different weapons that you can hold at any one time, and you can cycle through them so you can use specific ones. And as I say, it's just the type of thing that you have to strategise, and it means you can hold like defence, offence, stuff like that at the same time. The one-on-ones, I'll quickly mention that they're the ones that don't actually have the fan gates and that on them, and you also get extra lights as well. And the other things to mention are basically about what I'm on now, the offline multiplayer. I've already said that you don't get the rear view because there's not really enough room, and obviously it kind of ruined it for split screen and that. There's all sorts of options you can do. You can customise how frequent the weapons are, which ones are on and off. You can choose laps, you can choose tracks, you can put playlists on and stuff like that. You can just do all sorts of different things. I honestly don't think anyone will be complaining at the multiplayer options because they're fantastic. So the final thing left to say though is my personal opinion on something, because I have been asked about this, whether or not this game's better than Mod Nation. Personally, I don't think it is. This feels like a car game with weapons, whereas something like Mod Nation and Wipeout feels like the weapons work together with the cars and that, whereas this is a bit too realistic to really be that type of game. But it still is an absolutely amazing game. I'm loving playing it, and I can't wait to play it even more, and I hope there's a sequel as well.